I think you brought his lunch as well, to be honest. But that's by the way. Right, I'll go through the normal procedure. We're not expecting an alarm this morning, but please, if we do get one, exit the building and make your way to the far end of the car park. And please, would everyone switch their phones off so as we don't get interrupted on the way through? And I ought to do mine as well, I suppose, which I will in a minute. So that's fine, and everybody knows where the toilets are and drinks, so I won't go through that. So now we can perhaps move on to apologies for absence, please, Darryl.
Thanks, Chair. Good morning, members. We've got apologies from Councillors Lawford, Jackson, O'Callaghan, Oram, Penfold, Allen and Munoz. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much.
Could I give apologies for Councillor Carson as well, please?
Good, thank you. Right, we got one set of minutes to approve from the last council meeting held on the 27th of November. Has everybody read them and agree with them? We have a proposer for that? Got a proposer, got a second there. All in favour?
That's clearly carried for the minutes. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. And item 2, urgent business. I'm going to actually call on a leader to introduce this one because there's one item I think that's coming up. So please, leader.
Thank you, Chairman. I would like to advise members this morning on the announcement in Parliament yesterday on the local government finance settlement for 26-27 to 28-29. South Hams falls into the category of being amongst the worst affected councils in the country from the new settlement. The council will be making strong representations to the government on this matter in the coming weeks, and we will be responding to the consultation on the finance settlement, which now runs for 4 weeks until the middle of January. In the meantime, we will look at how we will balance our budget for next year and provide further briefings and reports to members early in the new year. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you very much, Councillor Thomas. Right, we move on to item 3, exempt information. There should be no need to divide the agenda, so I don't think there's any exempt information to disclose. Item 4, declarations of interest. Does anyone have any disclosable pecuniary interest or non-registrable interest that they need to declare, please? There is none. Thank you very much. Item 5, business brought forward by myself, which there is none at this stage. And we now move on to item 6, which is public question time. There's one public question that's come from Mr. John Grocott, and he doesn't appear to be here. So perhaps somebody could read that out. Darryl, please.
Thank you, Chair. The question from Mr. Grocott is as follows. Given the contradictory and confusing responses to my questions of 5th of June and 23rd of October, it would be helpful to have some clarification as to what steps, if any, will be taken to reduce traffic volumes and lower speeds on the High Street. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. I'm going to ask Councillor Birch to respond to that, if you would, please.
Okay. Sorry that Mr. Grocott isn't here, but as previously mentioned to him, one of the aims of the council's e-bike scheme is to encourage the use of bicycles, resulting in less reliance on the use of the car. This should hopefully result in a reduction in traffic in the Totnes High Street. As to reducing traffic volumes and securing lower speeds, the ultimate responsibility for achieving such measures rests with Devon County Council as the highway authority and the police, who are responsible for the enforcement of speed limits and traffic restrictions. In taking up these issues with the county and the police, I will be happy to assist Mr. Grocott.
Thank you very much, Councillor. And thank you, Mr. Grocott, for your question. Perhaps you could get an answer in writing for that.
We'll send an answer accordingly. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much indeed. Thank you. Right, item 7, reports of bodies. Ordinance and governance. Councillor Bonham, please.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. Oop, just get this straight. Yes, thank you, Chair. For the council, I bring forward the minutes of the meeting of Audit and Governance Committee held in Fullerton House on Thursday, the 9th of October 2025 for noting. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Overview and scrutiny. Councillor Hawkins, please.
I'd like to bring forward the minutes from the meeting held on the 16th of October 2025 for noting.
Thank you. C, Development Management Committee, Councillor Long. And this is for 6th of November.
Thank you, Chairman. Present the minutes of the Development Management Committee held on the 6th of November 2025 for noting, Chairman.
Thank you. Right, we move on to D. Who was going to do the presentation on this? Is Councillor Oram's not?
I will, Chair.
Thank you very much.
So I'd like to bring forward the minutes of the meeting held on 13th of November 2025 for noting, but also the recommendation from the Licensing Committee that the Council adopt the draft licensing policy that's amended to your agenda packs, effective from the 7th of January 2026 to our next 5-yearly review in 2031. For members' convenience, the main changes were in strengthening the policy in regard to safeguarding of vulnerable individuals in licensed premises, notably the Ask Angela system for protecting people who feel threatened or concerned. And I'd like to thank Councillors Dommett, De Winter, and many others who were forceful in encouraging this to be added into the policy. So on that, I'd like to propose that the Council adopts this policy.
I'll be a seconder for that, please. Yeah, Councillor Dommett. Thank you. Any questions on this one from members? No? So we can go straight into the vote. We all in favour of this recommendation?
That's unanimous for adoption of the policy. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. Thank you for that. Now we move on to E, which is the executive one, and that's brought by Councillor Thomas. And there is a recommendation.
Yeah, thank you, Chairman. So I'm presenting executive minutes from the special meeting held on the 27th of November and the meeting held on the 4th of December. And you will note the recommendation to agree, which effectively is the proposed 26-27 budget and the proposed 26-27 fees and charges as per your agenda packs. And I don't propose to go through every line of those for fairly obvious reasons, but would look instead for your support. My move from here, please, proposed.
Thank you very much. Any questions on this one, please? No questions? Yeah. Oh, yes, sorry.
It's a question on the other executive meeting, is it, for now, or he was moving both of them, wasn't he? Yeah, perfect. So
Yeah.
On the car parking review, it states that, can't find it now, that card readers on pay and display machines at the Dartford parking lot will be agreed. I believe in the meeting it was agreed that there'd be put into Mayor's Avenue as well.
Yes, I believe Councillor Priscilla Small-Foley has said that, Councillor Cooper, so we'll make sure that that's shown to be the case. But that was indeed agreed at exec.
Thank you, Councillor Cooper. Where did we get to? We need a vote on this now. We all in favour of carrying this one forward?
That's clearly carried. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. Now moving on to item 6, which is not item 6, it's item 8. Um, at this stage, I do not want to go backward. Questions on notice, and I don't believe there is any questions on notice.
That's correct. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. Right, now we move on to item 9, which is motion on notice. We've received 2, and the first one is from Councillors Presswell and Allen. Councillor Presswell.
Is the screen, are the screens working?
Nothing on the screens.
Could I just say Councillor Allen is poorly, so Councillor Hodgson is going to be the seconder. Thank you.
Oh, I see. Could we need it on the screen, really, this one?
It's on the paper.
It's on the papers. You shouldn't need it on the screens.
Unless it's amended. Chairman, it's also very short, so read it out.
Yeah.
Ask Councillor. It's quite short, to be fair. Yeah.
Yeah,
Ask
okay.
Councillor Preswell to read it out, Chairman.
Yeah. Councillor Presswell, would you like to read out your motion? Because it's not on the screen, so perhaps if you'd like to read it out, because it's a short one, I think.
Yes, there was an addition that was going to be on the screen. I'm wondering if I could read that out as you have the small motion in front of you. I'm aware I only have 15 minutes, so I'll be quite quick on this. The most direct consequence of firework explosions are causing enormous stress and in some cases death of animals. They're fearful and panicked by these explosions. Wild animals raising babies are known to abandon their dens in fear. Military veterans suffering with varying degrees of PTSD are triggered by the explosions, as are Ukrainian and other refugees living in the area, find the firework explosions very uncomfortable, having fled conflict zones. I myself have been in the conflict zone and had a problem with fireworks for a while. Locally, 2 charities, Animals in Distress and Woodside Animal Welfare Trust, that are within the South Hams, both comment on fireworks causing extreme fear, stress and phobias of many of our household pets. The Woodside Animal Welfare Trust, an animal rescue charity, actively provides advice and promotes awareness about the negative impact of fireworks on pets and wildlife. And I could get dozens, if not hundreds, of local residents supporting this idea of quiet fireworks in both private and public displays. One can have music playing when the fireworks are flying, and quiet fireworks are not specifically quiet. They are as loud as a hairdryer or a hand machine. I have 4 specific residents that are supporting this motion that have lived in the area more than 10 years. They have animals that have suffered extreme stress throughout that time, and I'm happy to ask if you all know of 1 or 2 residents in your patch that have had animals that are terrified of fireworks, or even your own animals. I believe the national statistic is 50% of animals have an adverse reaction. And there are loads of local social media posts around fireworks night, cats that have fled during fireworks, dogs terrified and run off, and horses that have suffered, and videos of cattle bolting around their fields. And on a national scale, a survey by the PDSA in 2024 found 40% of dogs, 34% of cats, 18% of rabbits are reported as afraid. The Kennel Club reported an 81% increase in 2024 of missing dogs, with 30% of their owners stating the dogs are terrified, 52% stating fireworks create great anxiety. RSPCA report stated they get around 400 plus calls a year relating to fireworks. The British Horse Society reported 26 fatalities between 2021 and 2025. What we don't know, there is no UK-wide official record of pet deaths linked directly to fireworks, panic-related injuries, heart failure, escape or trauma. And livestock incidents are often recorded through voluntary reports or press coverage. There's no statutory database. Zoos and wildlife parks note anecdotal cases, but there's no unified UK database from wildlife parks. Currently, Wallingford, Oswestry, Sunderland City, Gedling, London Colney councils are all banning noisy fireworks. 17 charities, both animal and military, have formed the Fireworks Impact Coalition, attempting to reduce the noise levels from 120 decibels to 90 decibels. This bill, brought about by Sarah Owens, MP for Luton North. A petition initiated by Robert Branch in Liege urges the government to restrict the sale of fireworks to those organising local council-approved events. The Netherlands have a national ban now on consumer fireworks happening in 2026. And Councillor Hodgson is going to read a small report written by Councillor Georgina Allen, who is seconding the motion. Thank you.
Well, would you like to move your motion?
So moved.
Thank you. Councillor Hodgson, seconded.
Happy to second, thank you.
Thank you very much. Would you like to speak now or
I will.
in a debate? Okay.
Yeah, thank you, because as
Right.
Councillor Presswell just said, Georgina Allen was going to be seconding this and I'm taking that place, and so I'm going to read out the statement from Councillor Allen. Growing calls through my years on the Town Council and now at Southampton District Council, over issues with pets and more frequently livestock have led me to second Councillor Presswell's motion. There have been several UK councils taking up silent firework policies recently, and I would take Sunderland City Council's rationale as one that we could adopt here. They seem to say it best. Then she's citing their policy. If you wish to use council-owned land for a function or event, you will only be permitted to allow the release of silent/quiet fireworks. This also applies to any events supported by the council, including those not on council land. Loud noise from fireworks can have an adverse effect on the welfare of vulnerable people and animals. And these bullet points: children and adults with sensory processing disorders who are on the autistic spectrum can have hypersensitivities to sound, light, touch, taste, smell, and pain, which stimulate anxiety and feelings of being overwhelmed or confused. These feelings are also common for people with conditions that affect the brain or nervous system, such as dementia. Next bullet. People with hearing conditions such as hyperacusis, I'm not very clear how that's pronounced, which can cause a difficulty in tolerance and volume of sounds that would not be considered loud by individuals with normal hearing. People with post-traumatic stress disorder may have difficulties with loud sounds such as an exaggerated startle response, fear of sound, phonophobia, or aversion to specific sounds, misophonia, which may trigger flashbacks or panic attacks. People with respiratory conditions such as asthma, COPD, and lung disease may also experience adverse impacts of the air pollutants and particulate matter expelled by fireworks through air quality degradation is short-term. Significant fear and distress can be caused to all animals due to the sudden noise. For those concerned how this would be implemented and enforced, this is Georgina speaking herself now, please note that Sunderland is a much more densely populated area of the UK, but their silent fireworks policy is working very well. Note, of course, we are talking about council land only. Please give vulnerable people and animals a thought during fireworks season and ensure that in South Hams at least we are thinking of them. I would just add to that myself to say that we are a rural area. And I think that, the points about sort of not just the farm animals, but actually wildlife. Wildlife are very, very easily startled. And as we know, we've lost 60% of our wildlife in the last 60 years, which is a staggering sum. And these are the sort of things that just, our human interactions that affect them. So I do urge you to support this motion today. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We can now debate this motion. Anybody want to start this one? Councillor Mackay.
Yes, I would certainly support this motion. I don't think it's a particularly onerous request to say just on council land. It's not so, and there is a big issue. Animals are scared by these things. Years ago, when I used to live in the sticks in North Devon, I invited all the neighbours around for a bonfire and fireworks, and it caused havoc around the area. Lots of people with horses had real issues, and I never did it again. It really scares the hell out of wildlife and domestic animals. I mean, my dog is petrified when the bangs go off. So I think this is a fairly low level request, and it sets an example. I mean, I have noticed that this year, actually, in my village, there wasn't very much activity in the fireworks department. So I think that message is getting out there that it, but I don't think there's any reason not to support this. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Dennis.
Thank you. I have several questions on this that I'd really like to understand before I vote on it, but as it stands, I will be voting against the motion. What I'd really like to understand is how many complaints the District Council receives from residents regarding fireworks on council land, and whether these pertain to any particular event or area. I'd also like to understand which fireworks displays this will affect. I noticed that we seem to have added in to the motion any event that the District Council supports, which I suggest would include most of them, as we provide trade waste and locality funding to a lot of the events in the South Hams. So some clarity on that would be appreciated. And what I haven't been able to understand with such short notice is the financial impact that this will have on event organisations. I know that certainly drones, you would be talking possibly up to 10 times the cost. It already costs organisers £6,000 to put on these fireworks, and drones would be significantly more. The companies that I know are used by our local event organisers don't offer silent fireworks, so that's why I haven't been able to find out the price. So I have asked Councillor Presswell for that information. The firework displays that happen in the ward that I reside in and that I represent have been run for 50 years. The volunteer organisers of those displays are responsible, they're professional, they are pet owners and farmers. They have to adhere to an increasing number of health and safety requirements each year, and do so willingly with the safety of their residents in mind. We should be celebrating and supporting these individuals, not burdening them with yet another restraint on the events that they organise. To ban loud fireworks is a disproportionate response, I believe, to what is a very small number of complaints from residents, and will have a huge detrimental effect on a much larger community that includes residents, families and the charities that fundraise at these displays. I would be happy to support, having heard what Councillors Presswell, Hodgson and Allen have said, the second part of this motion, which is actively encouraging the use of silent fireworks. But I wouldn't like to see this as extra work for our officers, and would suggest that Councillor Presswell perhaps be responsible for sourcing suppliers and engaging with the event organisers across the South Hams. And I would be happy to support her in that. But to ban them, I'd have to vote against that part of the motion. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Molyneux, would you answer the question, or can you answer the question, please?
Thank you, Chair. So we have not received any complaints of fireworks in terms of the noise that fireworks cause to the council. I've asked the question in terms of, it's not something that we ask when people ask to use our land, whether they're going to let off fireworks, but I've asked the question of officers, and the reply is that in 10 years, they're not aware of any requests for letting off fireworks on our land. I am aware, like yourself, Councillor Dennis, that there are, like the regatta in Salcombe and Kingsbridge Fair Week and Dartmouth Regatta, but that technically is all on water. And I've spoken to the harbour master, who confirmed that our role is to make sure that the barges that the fireworks are on are effectively safe to be on the water. We don't legislate again in relation to the fireworks, and most of the firework legislation relates to Devon Trading Standards, which is of course Devon County Council. So we don't actually have an active role in terms of enforcing fireworks displays.
Thank you. Councillor Thomas, I think you wanted to come in on this.
I would, Chairman, thank you. And you know, I think Councillor Presswell has had the opportunity to put her view forward. I won't be supporting this, personally, I think to ban loud fireworks is not for us. I think the government have a role in their part in selling and licensing of fireworks and what should legally be allowed to be sold. I was also taken by the point that Councillor Presswell made about dozens, if not hundreds, would support silent fireworks. Well, my response to that is hundreds, if not thousands, would email me supporting noisy fireworks, I'm afraid, at the right time of year, in the right places, for the right reasons. And you know, I think there are certain jobs that we are well placed to do as district councillors, and there are certain areas of society that, frankly, we would be well placed not to get ourselves involved in. And actually, I would suggest that this is the latter. There is a place here for MPs, almost certainly, and you should be lobbying your MP. On the question of council land itself, I would have thought where the firework debate comes in, most relevant usually is the question on whether there should be public or private displays. And of course, if there are going to be public displays, they are more likely to be held on public land than private land. So actually, I think there is a real danger that we shouldn't be. We should be looking, if anything, at encouraging the use of firework displays on public land amongst larger groups, which means that you have less single events rather than a number of small events all over the area. I take the point about animal harm. I take the point about different views, but this is one of those views where this isn't a political point, is it? We don't come down on the same side depending on political tribes. It's a personal choice. But personally, I would be leaving well alone, Chairman, and to that end, I can't support it.
Thank you very much. Councillor Hawkins.
I'm very pleased to hear the leader say what roughly I fully support. Whether excuse me, whether I have to declare an interest, I'm not certain. I am a member of the Port of Dartmouth Royal Regatta Committee. The contractor for the regatta is a company called Paynes. They've organised the regatta fireworks for well over 100 years. If Hillary was here, I think he'd probably say it's maybe 150 years. They've always been our contractor there. And some of you will have met my little partner in crime, Minnie. She absolutely adores fireworks. She sits in my arms and watches them and absolutely thoroughly enjoys them. She loves them. And when the Britannia Royal Naval College has silent fireworks and we sit in the back of our garden or stand in the back of our garden and watch them, they're not the same. I'm sorry, silent fireworks are not the same. So I just think they need to make certain that there's good warning, so that animals can be looked after and pets looked after. But as I say, mine sits in my arms and just looks at them and thinks it's fantastic.
Thank you. Councillor Dummett.
Thank you. I had a question, but I think it's been answered. My question was going to be, is there currently any use of council land to have fireworks displays? But it sounds like in the last 10 years there hasn't been any. So no matter how we vote on this, it's not going to make any difference to fireworks displays happening.
Thank you. Councillor Bonham.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. While I respect and recognise some of the concern that's been raised about noisy fireworks, especially around PTSD and potentially around nervous animals, I think we've got to balance that with the enjoyment that so many of our residents get from fireworks, visually and through their noise. And I'm not a big fan of fireworks myself, so I'm quite amazed at the number of people that really do seem to love them. And there are a lot, and I think we have to balance that respect of free enjoyment against potential harm. I think this motion is going too far. It's reflecting potential overreach by this council. I did ask the proposer of the motion what evidence there was locally that noisy fireworks is causing anguish, annoyance, nuisance, danger, or any concerns, and I didn't really get a very clear. Yeah, well, I mean, I've got no data on the numbers. I think what we've heard is there haven't been any complaints, so I'm not tending to support this motion. Thank you.
you very much. Councillor Hancock.
Thank you. I must confess I do enjoy a firework display. And the firework display I attended in earlier this year in November, I was doubly happy because I saw hundreds, possibly thousands of people, I don't know, enjoying said display. And I was pleased to think that the organisers of that display were producing a really positive economic impact for themselves in a time when the hospitality industry is really struggling. And I think my concern about promoting a ban on loud fireworks would be regarding the economic impact of such a ban on the hospitality sector, which is a really crucial part of our economy. I mean, and it's a tough one, isn't it? Because I mean, I really, Councillor Preswell's argument about the harms is really compelling, but economic harm is also damaging, and it also damages people's mental health. If you're a business owner, etc. There's a lot, and I think we would have to understand, without understanding that wider impact of a ban, I don't think I could support this motion.
Thank you very much. Councillor Panel.
Yes, I just remind members that the motion doesn't seek to ban the use of fireworks or even fireworks that make a noise. It's talking about loud fireworks, and there are fireworks being developed that produce less noise, and that's what this motion is addressing. And I do know of several dogs who are actually petrified of fireworks. There's one in my family who's really, really scared. So I'm minded to support the motion.
Thank you very much. Is there anyone else that wishes to speak on this? Councillor Callaghan. You're muted, Councillor. No, she doesn't want to speak.
Silent fireworks.
Yeah, that's right. Silent speeches. Is there anyone else? No? Right. I just put a 10 pence in, if I may. I believe that we've got to be, and I agree with Councillor Thomas on this one, I must admit. I mean, when we go to the firework competition in Plymouth, there's thousands of people turn up for that, and they make money, obviously, for the hospitalities and everyone else. I mean, that doesn't detract from the fact that some animals don't like them, but others don't worry about them. So that's my 10 pence, but thank you very much.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we can now.
Sorry, I think there's been a bit of a problem with Teams, which of course I'm on. Just briefly, in case can you hear me now? Oh dear, I'm getting feedback, but just briefly, any complaints I've seen on fireworks, if you can hear me, are from unregulated fireworks. They tend to be, rather than the noise that that ensues from fireworks, it's that they don't expect them. People don't expect them. People seem to be happy about expected regulated firework occasions on public land or otherwise, but people can't prepare for unregulated fireworks, and they can't prepare their animals either. So that's where I've seen the issues. Thank you.
Thank you. But I don't think we got any control over unregistered firework displays as any others. But I will now pass back, if there's no further questions, to Councillor Preswell to reply to this, if you can, please.
Thank you, Chair. Yes, a number of things have been brought up, understandably. Economic harm, I would dispute that. I think quiet fireworks that still have a pop and a fizzle, with good music and the camaraderie that goes around, the community, the food, there'd be very little change in the numbers, I think, financially, quite honestly. Regards the number of complaints, well, they do come in, and the complaints are usually quite, they're real complaints of quite severe problems. I think generally society's got quite laissez-faire regards fireworks because we've had them for decades, centuries, and I think that's the problem. Regards where we can buy them as to sell quiet fireworks, but I can research other places if people are interested. And regards the health and safety point that was made, I think that one can have all the health and safety policy around a firework display to the best degree, but we're missing the point here because it's the surround, it's the animals, it's the people, and it's all aspects of society. Let's not just think of our pets. It's all aspects of society that are affected by these loud fireworks, and they are getting louder. The idea is that South Hams District Council supports residents that are struggling or in trouble, and I think to have a message sent out saying that the council supports quiet fireworks, along with supporting, as they do, a lot of the firework displays in the region, would be very pertinent. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And I mean, my thought still is that on this bill, it should be pressed forward for government rather than South Hams, but that's my point.
So that was the summing up, Chairman.
Yeah.
You need to put it to the vote.
Yeah, we can now go to the vote on this one, please. Are you agreement with or against it?
No, in favour of.
In favour of the motion? All in favour?
That's 4 in favour. Thank you, Chair.
Those against the motion?
$18 against. Thank you, Chair.
Abstentions? Yeah.
With 2 abstentions. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. I would like to add at this stage that Councillor Carson is, sorry, I'll come back to you. Councillor Carson has arrived now, so Darryl, if you take that off the excuses. Councillor Hodgson.
Thank you. I just wanted to show you what's on City of Sunderland's Facebook page at the moment for their. It's their spectacular.
Councillor Hodgson, we've dealt with this one now.
I know,
It's
but I'm just
finished.
saying,
It's finished.
I think it was misunderstood.
Finished. Thank you. Go on now to 9B, Councillor Mackay and Councillor Birch. Councillor Mackay, would you like to move the motion?
Yes, I move the motion, and there are some amendments that I've added 2. I was requested to add that, and it seems to make sense to me. And I believe my seconder also supports that. So,
thank you, Councillor Birch. Councillor Birch seconded that. Thank you very much. So, if you'd now like to introduce this motion, Councillor Mackay. No,
we will get the Constitution out.
we might have to get some rules out on this one. You can have 2 minutes anyway. That's fine.
okay, so members will have seen the background notes that to the motion. So I shan't reiterate that. I'm bringing this motion because I am worried. You may have seen Chris Packham's opening address to the National Emergency Briefing. It was a moving and impassioned plea to follow the science. He said he was scared, and in my view, he has every reason to be so. I can't improve on 70-year-old Greta Thunberg's statement. I don't want you to be hopeful. I want you to be panic. I want you to feel the fear I feel every day. I want you to act. I want you to act as you would in a crisis. I want you to act as if the house is on fire, because it is. It's a very clever expression of a frustration that a lot of people share. I would also add a voice from the age of enlightenment. We need to dare to know. Atmospheric CO2 concentration is rising at an increasing rate, and it's now at a level that was last seen over 3 million years ago in the Pliocene, long before Homo sapiens existed. It was a complex period, but just for instance, some estimates of sea levels put them at 25 metres higher than today. This has not happened yet simply because of the inertia of global systems. It takes time for a glacier to melt. It takes time to warm 1.3 billion cubic kilometres of ocean. But they will melt and the oceans will warm, and it is already happening a lot faster than models suggested 5 years ago. Even a rise of 10 metres over a few hundred years will change the world, displace millions and create violent chaos. And sea level rise is just one of many devastating consequences for the world. Atmospheric methane concentrations are also rising. It is a very, very powerful greenhouse gas. It is estimated to account for about 30% of global warming, and humans are directly responsible for about 60% of that methane. But methane breaks down very quickly. It has a half-life of about 12 years. We could make a huge difference, and quickly, by just stopping the emissions of methane that originate from agriculture, the oil and gas industry and landfill. It is in our power. It is one thing that COP30 actually recognised, but that is against a huge resistance from the fossil fuel industry. It all sounds like some exaggerated disaster movie, but it is real and it is happening to us today. It is happening so fast that it will affect young people we know. This is not some future problem for generations we will never meet. It is frightening, or it should be. Yet I keep on coming across this idea that we should talk in positive terms if we want to engage. There is doubtless a place for that, but in my view it is a symptom of a disconnection from the stark reality the world now faces. And this is unfolding against a background of putrid politics in which apparently there is an alternative truth to science that is being censored by the Whitehall blob and the deep state. It is very easy to mock the copycat toxic mendacity of the likes of Farage and his deformed UK party and the lettuce, but they are a huge and dangerous distraction from what we all should be concentrating on, the huge calamity that is slowly enveloping us like a python's grip. I've always had great sympathy for the motives behind Extinction Rebellion, great name that says it all, and Just Stop Oil and similar organisations. I have never thought that their tactics would do anything other than annoy people, but I do share their frustration. In contrast, the National Emergency Briefing is a considered science-led plea to government, national and local, and to businesses and organisations to listen to what the science is telling us, which in a nutshell is time is rapidly running out. It is a call to arms, and we should do all we can to make sure that cry is from thousands of scientists is heard and continues to resonate across the land, and it does not get muffled by the cotton wool of hopeful thinking and the outrageous lies of the far wrong. We need to support this initiative in every way possible. While this motion may be a tiny squeak in the cacophony of politics, I think that squeak can be amplified by our membership of UK 100 and their network of 116 local authorities, and they have agreed and are awaiting the outcome of this motion. Finally, with regard to our climate emergency declaration, I would hope you agree this is an opportune moment to reaffirm this Council's commitment to ensure every decision is taken with this in mind. I do hope you can support this motion.
Thank you very much. Can Councillor Birch, would you like to speak now, or?
Yeah, I'll speak now. Yeah, can I just ask one thing before I start? The arithmetic is wrong in item 5. It should be 6 years, not 5. But I'm sure. I'm supporting or seconding this motion because, bearing in mind, this goes back quite the council's concern on the matter of climate change and biodiversity goes back to the 25th of July 2019. It was at a full council meeting that this council declared a climate change and biodiversity emergency. I remember that meeting well. In fact, it got all party support. It was unanimous support for that at that meeting. And in fact, since then, the council has been united in its efforts to make its contribution towards tackling the climate change and biodiversity emergency. And this is recognised in the fact that the climate change and biodiversity is one of this council's top priorities. And in fact, the priority given to it is recognised in the fact that it has its own strategy and action plan, and a very comprehensive one that is. Again, this has got or had and has all party support. So the resolution that is before you is yet a further contribution on the part of this council towards tackling the climate change and biodiversity emergency. And I think we would be good to see us maintaining that unity by continuing our support for not only the actions of this council, but also by supporting this resolution. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Birch. We now move into the debate, which does include the amendment. So we would like to start this.
Thank you, Chair. I'd encourage everybody to go onto the National Emergency Briefing website. It's very simple and straightforward. And one of the tabs is a drop-down menu of the expert briefings, various professors, lieutenant generals, etc. Each of the 9 briefings is about 10, 12 minutes long. So I do encourage you to look at them. The point about the briefings, it really brings home the sobering thought of what is happening quite quickly. Included in those 9 are nature, climate and energy transition. But most importantly, more importantly, I think, health, economics, national security. It's all interwoven. And I think that's what most of our society misses, that you have to affect one item and others will be affected further down the line. And I would ask that people have a look at those briefings and maybe that we consider a task and finish group, I would imagine, to see how the officers working in the various departments at South Hams could talk in a combined group, see how these various points are interwoven and how that can affect policy going forward. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I mean, I don't think that a task and finish group is going to be the answer to it, but I can assure you that the council actually supports climate emergency every.
I'd like to start by complimenting the last Conservative government for the measures over biodiversity net gain they brought in the planning system, which required all new developments to have a 10% gain for biodiversity. And I've been shocked that the present government has just scrapped those for a large proportion of planning applications. Only large developments will be affected, and over 90% of current applications will no longer have to provide that improvement to our biodiversity and to our wildlife. And I think that, combined with the stripping of the intention to strip local authorities of the power to impose climate change measures in their planning policies, such as better insulation, solar panels, heat pumps, etc., better glazing, shows a worrying lack of intention to pursue measures that are going to address climate change. And I think we need to do all we can to persuade those around us that they've got to take this seriously. So therefore I support this motion.
Thank you, Councillor Pano. Is there anyone else? Councillor Hodgson.
Thank you. I think it's very interesting how this council can be changed sometimes. As you might remember, it was the year before it came through with the new council that I actually proposed this in 2019, along with proposals to Devon County Council and to Totnes Town Council. In fact, Totnes Town Council was the first town council to declare climate emergency across the country, which was brilliant. But I do think this is really important that we actually review where we are, and I think it's a sad fact that we get a lot of enthusiasm, and then suddenly things just, they're not sexy anymore in the news, and everybody thinks, oh, we've been there, done that, but we haven't done it enough. And I think it's, as much as I hear, sort of like the thing about we shouldn't instill fear, and I absolutely agree with that. At the same time, everybody's in such a mess at the moment. We've got fear of, what's happening with our finances. And a lot of this was all predicted as part of what would happen as we go into climate chaos. I mean, we know now that extreme weather was, as predicted, is here. It's happening exactly as it was. It wasn't going to just be nice, warm greenhouse weather, greenhouse Mediterranean climate. It's actually extreme and unpredictable and chaotic. People's homes are being flooded. The announcements of finances this week that have come through from central government include huge sums to be spent allocated to support people's homes being flooded and address that and address a lot of the big issues that are happening on our coastal margins, which are some are just going to have to be abandoned. It's really tragic, and so there's a huge amount of things that are happening to people, and I think there's a huge problem that people are hunkering down and thinking, oh well, I'm just going to get on with my life. It's so difficult anyway. So I think it's reminding ourselves and then thinking positively about what we can do. And I think there's an awful lot we can do. And behaviour change really comes from people seeing what other people do. And I think that's where ourselves as, sort of, I would say, people, significant people in our local communities, people know us, they know what we do and what we believe in and what we stand for. It's an opportunity as individuals to just, hopefully be those advocates for the right things. And I think that, we should try and sort of look at ways of doing things that are full of joy and pleasure and about community and help build community, because that's probably the best thing we can do to make people feel positive. And when they feel positive, we want to do more, and we can actually, feel less that we have to do the exotic, exciting things, that we can actually just maybe take, one less long haul holiday and things like that, that's all cost on the climate. So, I welcome this motion and I will certainly be supporting it. Thank you. And I also congratulate our officers and the team here, because we've got a huge amount of support for everybody now pointing in that direction very positively. Thank you.
Councillor Thomas.
Chairman, thank you. Look, this is a really straightforward motion in many ways. I mean, this is I did see, I got the impression perhaps one or two people didn't maybe understand fully what Councillor McKay was talking about when he presented. What this, in essence, is asking you is to be aware that there is a new national reset. There is a reset of the national situation, a reminder of where we are. There is, as part of that process, an emergency briefing. We have joined a new club, a club of councils who are all supportive of climate change. Councillor McKay is asking us, will we please support the new national reset? Will we please support asking all the other members of the new club we've joined to also support this national reset and publicise it as far afield as possible? I think that's an enormously encouraging and positive thing to do. I said in exec, I reiterate, Councillor McKay has worked really, really hard on this for us as a council over the last 5 years, both in opposition and in his current portfolio role. I don't always understand, I don't always fully follow, but I trust Councillor McKay in what he believes in and the path down which he is taking this council. I've always trusted him in that. I've always supported him in what he's trying to do for the people of the South Hams around this area. And there are other councillors, and I hear you, Councillor Hodgson, you ploughed a lonely furrow for a long time, but you are now in a fabulous position where all those things that you said should happen are coming to pass, and other people are saying them for you, which is always a wonderful thing to be in that position, where other people are saying things for you. So I commend this. I ask members to support it. I ask members to support fundamentally the good work that Councillor McKay continues to do for this council on something that's really important for all of us and for generations to come. Thank you, Chairman.
Councillor Dennis.
Thank you, Chair. I agree with Councillor Hodgson in that I would be delighted to support the fifth point of this motion in reaffirming Council's commitment. But as it stands with points 1 to 4 included, I'll be voting against it. There are many residents across the South Hams making really hard sacrifices to reduce their impact on the climate, and we should and could be doing more as we sit here in our air-conditioned room with numerous electronics running, sipping our Nescafe coffee from single-use plastic sachets. I would prefer that we focus our endeavours as a council on working locally, setting an example and supporting the individuals in the South Hams to make those choices. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Brazil.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. I'm slightly disappointed to hear that from Sam. I mean, because 1 to 4 doesn't preclude us doing all of that, acting locally. It just signs up to a more national picture. So I hope that she can support 1 to 4, because I don't think it stops us from doing all the stuff locally that she talks about, which is absolutely crucial, and I totally agree. You know, we have an opportunity. Well, we've had the opportunity for many years now to actually to have a step change in how we try and deal with these issues. And I have to say, yes, I find it incredibly disappointing that government seems to have put development and growth above everything else. And we see that with the biodiversity net gain changes that they're trying to make in the planning rules, which is, I just think is a retrograde step. So absolutely, I will support this. I think it is incredibly, you know, it's an incredibly crucial part of as a public body of what we should be trying to do and setting examples. So I'd like to thank John and all the officers who have been so heavily involved in much of this. I know that it's a passion for John, and in a way, you know, we're lucky to have him, that he feels so passionately about it and fights so hard. I know it winds people up, but you know, you know, we all do it in our own ways. But I mean, I just think that we're lucky to have John, and I'm very happy to support this motion.
Thank you. Anyone else got any input into this? I would ask you, Councillor McKay, to come back and answer that if you wish, and close this debate.
I haven't really got much to add, but just to draw attention perhaps to the fact that the people that organise the national emergency briefing are local to this area. Simon and Nick Aldridge live here, and Adam, our climate change officer, also attended that meeting in Westminster, and he said that it was a jolt for him to wake up. I think I hope I'm not misquoting him, but so I think it was a very important occasion, and I really hope that we can take it forward and support it. Thank you
very much. Thank you for that. Right, we'll move on now to the vote, and I intend taking it as one whole rather than splitting it. So, all in favour of the motion?
Twenty in favour, thank you, Chair.
Those against?
None against.
Abstentions?
4 abstentions, thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. That seems to be the conclusion of the business, I believe. Or the leaders. I go speak to you.
It is conclusion, but it would be remiss of us to leave this meeting without a few words from Mr. Brooke, because he was hoping so much, I know, that we would forget to say a few words from Mr. Brooke. Chris is leaving at the end of well, this month, this year, this week, probably today if he gets his way. Last week, sorry. Well, it is a wonder he's here, Chief Exec, absolutely, and in fact, many would say,
Who is he?
Well, indeed, indeed. And I think therein, Chris, lies the general nature of the way this is going to go. Look, no, in all seriousness, Chris has been with us, what, 12 years, a bit more, 13, unlucky for some, Chris, mainly for us. Yeah, okay, so I think that there are always organisations where you have the people who have to think outside of the box, and Chris has done that really consistently over pretty much all that time, and some of the time it hasn't worked, and some of the time it's worked really well, because that's the nature of thinking outside the box, isn't it, basically? You know, you can't always, not every scheme will catch fire, but the ones that do usually burn bright, and Chris, you have burned bright in this organisation, and like all objects that burn bright, you will leave a legacy of what you've managed to do for us. And you know, it's lovely when I don't need to provide the comedy because everyone else is doing so for me, Chris. You know, I'm sitting here trying to deliver an earnest and heartfelt peroration of your works for this council, whilst around me everyone else is taking the mickey, and I know you wouldn't have it any other way. But would anyone else like to speak? I know you, Nikki, you would. So I'll give way and let others speak. But I think the message really before I do is just to say, thank you for being brave. Thank you for being bold. Thank you for always thinking about what's best for the South Hams, and thank you for doing it with a smile on your face.
Thanks, Dan. I just like you've changed, Dan Thomas, because when Chris got involved with Langage and the Freeport, you didn't like him at all.
I should say I didn't like him at all because I knew him as a parent then, and I had to teach his sons. So we had a very different relationship at that stage.
But I do remember on the why me? I have no idea because I don't understand it. But on the interview panel for Chris, which was ridiculous, when Chris first came to the council, and when we had the reorganisation, and Chris, I really have enjoyed working with you because we can always say it as it is with you and get an answer that we probably don't like half the time. So I really do, and I'm glad I'm not glad you've jumped ship early, but I understand why you're going, and completely admire you for going before some people have thought about going, and understand completely. But it will be a loss to us, definitely. So thank you.
Yeah, I just reiterate, really, Chris, it's been a pleasure working with you. And I, on behalf of all the members, we say a big thank you for that, because you've always been there on the end of teams, and sometimes you answered, and sometimes you thought not him again. But I can understand that as well. But all the very best in your future anyway.
So I'm going to join in. I had the opportunity to work with you for 2 years, and it was a good 2 years with honest and straightforward responses, clarity of thought, detail taken by you, Chris, and items progressed. And I really enjoyed the time. Thank you very much for that. It's nice working with all the team, of course, but here we are at this moment. Thank you very much.
So there we are. We wish you all the best over at PCH, and we hope to see you again.
If I may, just briefly. No, I just wanted to say thank you to all of you. It has been 13 years of mainly great fun, lots of really positive challenge from you as councillors, individually as executives, and they've changed over that time, different colours and different ambitions, but always lofty ambitions. And that's been one of my takeaways really on reflecting on those years. Of kind of how high you will set the bar. And I think what's been great about this council is that you have a top team led by Andy that will remain able to jump as high as you set it. And that's what makes working local government so fun. And I've always thought that local government's only as restricted in its ambition as its ability to think creatively. And this council's done that. And I've really enjoyed sitting in the rooms, listening to the challenge, working with great colleagues, going, oh, hadn't thought of that. How can we do that then? And more often than not always, but more often than not, there's been a way, and most of those have proved to be really valuable to the council, to the residents, and to be honest, therefore for us all, because that's why we come to work. So thank you so much, and I hope our paths cross again from a kind of social value and housing perspective, because Plymouth's not very far away, and they have expansionist ambitions, I understand. Thanks a lot.
That's the first job you could do is build a boundary wall. So that would be quite good. So right on that note, and a very pleasant one as well. Apart from the fact we're losing you, Chris, which we don't like. I just now come to the end of this meeting, and I'd just like to thank everyone who attended the members' dinner last week. And we raised £140 for prostate cancer towards my charity. So thank you everyone who came, and a Merry Christmas to one and all. And since we finished early, we will now go into Christmas carols. So, yes, that's right. So I will now declare the meeting closed.